Hey, what's up, Smash community? So basically I had this video from 2 years ago that was mildly popular, and it talked about like the philosophy of Smash. Particularly it was about tiers and items. But the video wasn't quite as comprehensive as I'd liked it to be, since it was mainly addressed to one person and not addressed to the whole community. So there's more information about that in the video description, so just click more info if you want more info. But basically what I decided to do was start a series of 3 videos, at least 3. This video will be about items and why they're banned. The second video will be about tiers and why they exist. And the third video will be about wave dashing, and maybe it might be about other tactics. But what these videos are not about, they're not gameplay videos. It's not to educate you about gameplay, because there's a lot of videos out there about, you know, how to play, how to train your Falcon, you know, just like how to practice, how to do combos. So this isn't a tutorial video. This video series is about the philosophy of Smash, and what I want to accomplish in this video is to adequately and comprehensively and fully explain why items are banned in competitive Smash. So I'm just gonna jump right into that discussion. So when it comes to you know, why items are banned, you have to start with competitive melee and its purpose. So the purpose of competitive melee is to you know, have the best man win. You know, they say may the best man win. That's what it's all about. You know, we want the better player to win. We want that victory to be earned. You know, that's like the essence of competition. If you change that definition to anything else, it's not competition. You know, the definition of competition is just like where skillful people earn their victories. With that in mind, if you were to introduce luck into a game of skill, then you're detracting from what makes competition for that particular thing good. Whether it's sports or games, you want to minimize luck factors to make the competition more enjoyable, less frustrating, and just, you know, just a better all-around game. And that's kind of the idea behind Smash. You know, Smash has a competitive rule set that has changed a lot over the years. You know, we have a very rich competitive history, but one thing that has not changed about the rule set is its purpose. And that purpose has always been to maintain this central theme of having a skill-based game where players win off skill and they earn their victories. A victory is not as much earned when you have people winning off luck factors. So our goal in Smash in its rules is to minimize those luck factors. Now, on the issue of why items are banned, items are a significant luck factor. And there's 2 reasons for this. The first is that items spawn spontaneously. So they appear on the map randomly, and if you get that item, you know, you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. There's no skill that you can, there's no button input, there's no skill that you can have that can cause that item to summon right in front of you, right? Furthermore, items, they explode spontaneously. I think something like 1 in every 9 containers or capsules explode on contact. So, you know, that introduces a luck factor that causes significant damage and knockback that you don't have control over. You don't know when it's going to happen. So that's a luck factor that, once again, detracts from the competitive value of the game Smash. With those 2 things in mind, you know, we can see why items are banned. But, you know, people I kind of often ask, you know, they challenge like, oh, competitive players, they just don't want to lose, you know, with the items on. But that's not a very good response, because if you look at, you know, players like Ken, who had to compete in tournaments with items sometimes, you know, they excelled, you know, they just wrecked. And, you know, that's how it is. You know, items do involve skill. There's a skill factor with items. So a bad player is not going to suddenly rise up and beat a good player just because items are on. So, you know, let's get that silly notion out of our heads. Competitive players are not afraid of items by any means. That's not why items are banned. If anything, items will widen the gap between good and bad players, because then it gives the good players that much more to abuse with their technical manipulations. I mean, if you look at home run contests, imagine that kind of stuff, but with other items and just used in like more interactive and unique and innovative ways. You know, so bottom line is competitive players are not afraid of items by any means. The reason they're banned is because ultimately, like, they're gonna cause matches where the player who had the edge in like reaction or the edge in skill or practice or whatever, they're gonna cause a few matches where like they don't win. Because, you know, when you have a good and a bad player, if you give them items, the bad player is not going to suddenly beat the good player. But if you have two really good players, which is what we see in tournaments, right? That's when, you know, something like a random explosion can give that one player that extra edge that he didn't really earn. That extra edge can push him over, and, you know, who knows, maybe it's grand finals and he wins the whole tournament. He wins all this extra cash for getting first place because of that random explosion. So that's the kind of stuff that we don't want. And that's why items are banned. It's because of that luck factor. So I hope that I've, you know, adequately established that items are, they do add a chance element to the game. And even though I concede that it takes skill to use items, like combo with items and stuff, it's not worth the cost of taking away from the competitive spirit of Melee by adding all those luck factors in. So now that I've kind of defined and explained why the rules are the way they are, I'm just go straight into common responses that casual players have. This is an issue that I've discussed quite a bit with a lot of people of all levels and all understandings of Smash, from very high understanding to very low understanding of competitive Smash. So I think I've seen enough to where I can identify the most common responses. So I'm going to go over the most common responses that casual players or players who don't understand competitive Smash have to the banning of items, and I'm going to kind of just systematically deconstruct them and demonstrate why they are incorrect. The first is, casual players often accuse tournament players of being elitist. You know, basically casual players have this view that we think we're the best and that we're stuck up, and, you know, they think that, you know, we ban items because we just want to be above them and all that. But, you know, I think we need to be careful about that, because, you know, we can't really say any one group is any one particular personality. I mean, you might have more people in the competitive scene who think they're like elite and all that, but ultimately there are also casual players who think they're hot stuff as well. And there are nice players in the competitive community in the same way that there are nice casual players. So let's not stereotype or anything. It's not really our place. And also, like, just because someone is mean about the truth doesn't mean that it's not the truth. I mean, preferably you would have someone who can explain to you why things the way they are without being a jerk about it. But the fact is, if you say someone's wrong just because he's a jerk, that's ad hominem and it's a logical fallacy. And, you know, we don't want to get tangled up in logical fallacies here. You know, we want to be accurate. Number two, second thing that casual players often say is, they accuse tournament players of taking the fun out of the game by having these strict rules like items being banned and whatnot, and stages being banned. I think this is also very judgmental and something that we don't want to fall in. Whether you're a casual player or a competitive player, you're at risk of falling into this kind of judgmental mentality, and it's not our place to judge others. For example, when it comes to swimming, I'm a very casual swimmer. I like to just sit in the pool and just like splash around and chill with friends. But there's some people who like to race. They like to, you know, say like, hey, let's see who can swim to the end of the pool first. You know, I don't like to race in the pool. I'm not a good swimmer, but those people do. There's fun in both those elements of swimming. You know, for me, I like to just casually hang out in a pool. For some people, they like to swim in the Olympics. Both are legitimate activities to engage in. Same goes with Smash. Some people like to have fun with Smash. They don't want to get better at it. They just want to play with items and just, you know, have a good time, just have a ball, you know. And there are other people who they're interested in seeing how good they can get when you take out all the luck factors and make it a pure skill game. And they're really interested in seeing how far you can take a game and how far human capabilities can like bring you. And both are legitimate ways of having fun, and it's not anybody's place to tell someone else that their way of fun is, you know, I mean, their way of playing is not fun. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we need to just be accepting and not say that any one thing is completely devoid of fun. It's just not our place. Like, there's nothing that's truly not fun, except for Brawl. We can say that Brawl is not fun. Number three, so casual players they often complain about cheap moves, and they say like, okay, if items are banned, why are like cheap moves not banned as well? And they make a logical blunder here, because they're drawing this invisible line between ease of use and balance. Because when casual players say cheap, they usually mean how easy it is to do something. For instance, they'll say Sheik's down throw is cheap because it's easy to combo out of it. But the reason that's not imbalanced is because both players have access to Sheik, and both players can use down throw, and both players can follow up down throw. The reason that items are imbalanced is because when an item explodes, it just explodes. You didn't get to choose which ones explode, it's just random. So ultimately, we can't measure balance by how easy or difficult something is to do. We have to measure it by whether there's luck factors involved. So I would just reiterate, items are banned because they have luck elements. So that's my response to that. The fourth and last common point that players make against items being banned that I'll mention here is the fact that there are some luck factors that we keep in competitive Melee. This is true. Game & Watch's hammer, Luigi's misfire, Peach's turnips. These are all integrated luck factors that are part of the game. The reason that we don't eliminate these is, one, it's very difficult, but two, and more importantly, they don't have as significant a bearing on the outcome of a match. If you look at Luigi's misfire, it does not win tournament matches. If you look at Game & Watch's hammer, even though it would be a good move in theory if you could land the 9, it's not worth the 1 through 8 risk. So if you look at a really competitive Game & Watch player, unless they're sandbagging against some really bad scrub, they're not going to use the Judgment Hammer at all if their goal is to win. But lastly, Peach's turnips. Now this is a bit of a unique case because every now and then in a tournament match, Stitch Face Turnip does confer a degree of advantage to the Peach player. And my response to that is, yes, ideally we as a community would probably take out that aspect of Peach's game if we could. In fact, there's a project going on right now on GameFAQs. It's called Melee 1.4, where they're trying to take out the luck factors and patch some other things in the game. I won't get too into that, but basically, we would if we could, but really we can't compare Stitch Face to items, because items, they will spawn spontaneously every single match, and they will explode spontaneously almost every single match. Stitch Face is not something that you can really compare to that, frequency-wise. The frequency of items having that luck factor is so much greater. There's just no comparison. And at the end of the day, why should we ban something for its luck factor? We should only ban it for its luck factor if that luck factor influences a significant number of match outcomes. That's what we're saying here. We're not saying that we ban everything with luck factor. We're banning the things with luck factor that significantly determine that determine a significant number of match outcomes. I hope that this was comprehensive enough for everyone, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing part 2 and 3, and maybe more after that.